The Icons of Real Estate podcast. Are you ready to learn the proven money-making secrets from top-producing icon agents? Ready to skyrocket your business? This podcast is for you. Tune in every week with your host, Tomasz Fonseca, and find out how to implement proven strategies to 10 times your business. From $3 million to $30 million in just 12 months. Brought to you by the Masters in Real Estate Marketing, Arter SEO.
All right, here we go. Welcome to the Icons of Real Estate. I'm Tim Callaway. We have a very special guest for you today, Jeremy Brandt from WeBuyHouses.com. Jeremy, how are you?
Doing great. How are you, Tim?
Yeah, I'm doing fantastic. Thanks for being on. So I got to ask you the same thing I ask everybody else, Jeremy. I'm not going to let you off the hook. Were you like the kid of 5 years old tugging at your parents' pant leg and saying, hey, how do I make money in real estate? Or were we like the rest of us where we kind of fell into it at a later age?
You know, I fell into a little bit. My background is I was the kid that was taking everything apart in the house. I was a bit of an engineer and got into online SEO marketing kind of stuff really early on. And was a network engineer when I was around 20. And
Okay.
and when the technology market kind of blew up, I was young and there was a lot of tech people that were out of work, so it was tough for me to find a job. And I got into real estate and started flipping houses. And that's really kind of where I got my start in real estate. So I was in my 20s, but I wasn't a kid that dreamed of doing real estate when I was at home.
Right. So fantastic. So tell me how, I guess, did you have a mentor? I mean, so many times people that tried it. I'll start with flipping houses, even though that's not what kind of what you're doing now. But starting with flipping houses, did you have a mentor, or did you just, did you go to our Carlton Sheets seminar? I mean, like how did you figure out, okay, this is how you do it. I make this many contacts and I make this many offers and here's my ratio. I mean, there is a lot involved to be successful at it, as you know, being
Yeah.
successful at it. How did you figure all that out?
All of the above, really. So I definitely had a couple of people that had a lot of experience that I sidled up to. And one guy I remember, I kind of made him a deal. I said, look, I'll come in and show you how to use a CRM system. Nobody really used those back then. I'll show you how to automate some of your business and let me watch how you flip houses and kind of learn from you. And we'll call it a deal. And I learned a lot doing that. And then I was just a great consumer of information. I've read every book on real estate and house flipping that's out there. I would hang out in the really, really early real estate forums before, Bigger Pockets and a bunch of these companies ever existed.
Right.
Just reading everything and talking to everybody. And I never really paid for a course, didn't go to a seminar, but just read everything I could find and jumped right in and just started doing it.
Yeah. I mean, sometimes that's what you got to do, right? Baptism by fire.
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sometimes you can spend too much time learning. It's better to just do and learn on the job.
Yeah. Fantastic. So let me ask you this. I wanted to ask you this at the end, but I'm going to ask it now. I know you have a few sites that do a few different things, but do you teach at all? I mean, do you do any kind of coaching or conveying to others for money, on how to do this? Are you simply, buying homes and, reselling or whatever the case may be?
Yeah, we don't do any paid coaching for sure.
Okay.
That's not our business. We do in one of our companies, we run a mastermind group. It's a
Okay.
non-paid mastermind group for our clients that are buying other services from us. And so we run that mastermind. We do some coaching and training and things involved in that, but we don't do any paid training for real estate investors at all.
Oh, okay. Well, tell me, I did notice on one of your sites, you have an area and you do have a mastermind. Tell me about that a little bit. I mean, what are you sharing with people? And who really benefits from it?
Yeah. So about, we've got a couple of companies. This year is the 20th anniversary of our lead gen company called Fast Home Offer and the 10th anniversary of our licensing kind of company called WeBuyHouses.com. And in that licensing company, it's kind of like a franchise in that people license territories from us. They operate as WeBuyHouses.com in those local territories. And they kind of own that market and operate as WeBuyHouses.com in that market. And so one of my visions for that was to create a mastermind group because we had some of the largest and most experienced house flippers in the country as part of our group. I mean, some of our guys are flipping 100, 200, 300 houses a year.
Wow.
So very large volume.
That's a lot.
Experienced. built out companies. And we wanted to bring them all together and just have them learn from each other. I've been to hundreds and hundreds of seminars and meetings and meetups and all these things kind of over my career. And I always found the best learning was just getting a bunch of people in a room together, and somebody's really good at one thing and another person's really good at another thing. And if you just kind of facilitate the conversation, I think incredible learning comes out of it. Most of the time, I've hired lots of speakers over the years. And, a lot of times when you bring in a paid speaker, they're trying to sell something. And that kind of creates an environment that is a little bit different. In a mastermind group, if nobody has anything to sell, nobody's running a coaching program. And in our case, everybody's in a different geographic market. They feel like they can really just open the kimono and say everything about what's happening in the real estate business, the good, the bad, and the ugly, because they don't have competitors in the room. They have colleagues in the room. And so we found that's been really successful. We've run, 12 or 14 of these mastermind groups and get amazing feedback when we do it.
Yeah, that's fantastic. Yeah, basically a sharing of ideas and sometimes a sharing of hurdles, right? I mean, in having somebody there that might be able to help you out without, signing up for a 60-day course.
For sure. Well, I've in my career, I have always learned more in the downtimes and the struggles than I've learned when it was easy. When it was easy, you just kind of go. But in the downtimes when you learn, how to structure a business, how to optimize things, how to change things. And so I think learning from other people's mistakes can move you really far down the field.
Yeah. And it's always sometimes nice when somebody else learns from those mistakes and just passes it on to you, right?
For sure. Yeah. I've benefited from that in my career, and I hope to pass that.
Fantastic. Hey, so Jeremy, let me ask you, I've had, some other folks that do, buy homes for cash and or land for cash, which is seeming to be very popular. Do you do any just land, non-structural property purchasing at all?
Yeah. So corporately, our businesses, we actually don't buy and sell property. I mean, I have real estate investments individually, office buildings and houses and things like that. But our businesses are really focused on providing services to the house flipping community. Our licensees, the people in our community, absolutely. They're buying land, they're buying houses, they're buying commercial buildings. A lot of them, classic real estate entrepreneurs, right? They've got 4 or 5 different businesses. Some people are running Airbnbs. Some people have got co-working spaces, lots of different kind of things that they're doing in their business. And that was really the dream for what we were creating was we want to give people a national brand that they can operate under that's reputable and well-known and people trust, but then let them run their business however they want. So we're not telling them how to buy houses or which houses to buy. We're letting them run their business how they want, as long as they're acting ethically and responsibly and treating everybody right. We give them this national brand that's, I'd say one of the most well-known brands in residential real estate investing. And then they could use that in their local market as they work with home sellers.
Yeah. So let me ask you this, if for the WeBuyHouses.com brand, I guess, is there anything, I don't mean to sound flip about this, but is there anything new under the sun? Because when I've bought houses, when I've bought homes, right, and I've wanted to flip homes, man, 10,000 mailers, boom, go get them. And then I get that 1%, maybe 1.5, whatever it might be. Everybody's different. And then the internet came along, right? And it was like, do it this way, do it this way.
Yeah.
And then, there's always boots on the ground stuff. There's always internet marketing things. Anything new under the sun, or is there anything different folks are doing now that's really, and I'll couple that question. I'm sorry, Jeremy, for kind of dragging it, but in a time like now, when people tend to, some people tend to panic a little bit, right? I talk with realtors every day, and there's some panic out there sometimes. Is there anything new under the sun when it comes to finding these deals out there?
I wouldn't say brand new under the sun. I mean, it's in any business, it remains the same, right? There's kind of classic marketing methods. Those get updated over time, but the basic blocking and tackling of running a residential real estate investing business is very much the same. You need to have some type of outbound marketing. Direct mail still works amazing. We send out hundreds of thousands of pieces of direct mail every month. Certainly over the last 10 or 15 years, the internet has become a big component of that. So, we're doing pay-per-click and SEO and Facebook and kind of all these things. And so I don't think pay-per-click is like a reinvention of the residential real estate business. It's simply kind of a natural evolution And now we have clients that are doing TikTok videos and things. So,
Right.
Every new channel that comes along, people kind of jump on it and find a way to market. But once you have connected with that home seller, it's the kind of same process that it's been for a long time.
Right.
And then we find, on the disposition side of those properties, a lot more people are doing Airbnb. So that kind of company and technology has allowed them to have a very different outlet for the properties they're buying versus just a traditional sale or a long-term rental to somebody that's going to live in the house for a couple of years. So we see those as kind of pretty significant changes over time, but it's still kind of the basic blocking and tackling of buying, renovating, and selling houses.
Yeah, I used to always, and this is not about me, it's about you and your companies, but FSBOs, the for sale by owner was always like, to me, the best avenue to go after, right?
Sure.
Is that, do you find the same thing? Do you find that that's generally the ones that I'm probably going to have the best interaction with?
Well, for a residential real estate investor, the main value add they provide is homes that need a lot of repair, where somebody doesn't want to or can't do the repair on their houses. A lot of the FSBOs are really good for that, but oftentimes somebody that's doing it for sale by owner is trying to do it because they don't want to pay the real estate commission. And people in that situation are not a great fit for an investor. True. Because investors got to buy at a pretty big discount to be able to have the margin to fix up the property and sell it. So when the house needs a lot of repair, we find that it's a really good deal. But oftentimes, if it's in great condition, they're going to try it for sale by owner for a while, and then they're going to end up with a real estate agent. And that's really where they should go if they don't, if they're not in a huge rush and it does need a lot of repairs.
Yeah, fantastic. How would someone get in touch with you, Jeremy, if they were interested in either, selling their home, or if they were interested in joining your organization, the WeBuyHouses.com? How would they get in touch with you?
Yeah, so WeBuyHouses.com, like I said, is a national brand license. People can license territories. And then we run the largest lead generation company for investors in the country called Fast Home Offer. We work with hundreds of thousands of home sellers every year and connect those with local real estate investors. So the easiest way to get a hold of us is just to go to one of those websites, fill out a contact request form, and that'll go to our team and we'll follow up with you. We're on all the social media outlets, Instagram and Facebook and all that kind of stuff as well. So you can interact that way as well.
Gotcha. Are there any states that are, everybody has a go-to state or a go-to area. What would you fit? And might be more personal on a personal level, but what states do you tend, or are you limited in any states? Are you off in these states, or are you like, no, we're just Southeast, or we're just these states?
No, we operate in every state of the United States, every province of Canada. We have some business in Australia, and we're kind of looking at how we might work in the UK. It has a similar but different kind of real estate market. So we're, all over a number of different countries. As far as states in the U.S., people always ask us, what's the best spot to invest in real estate? It's like,
that's what I'm really asking, Jeremy.
Right. So the markets that I love are the second tier markets where you've got a lot of older houses, but not cities that are big enough where they're just overrun with real estate investors. So, some markets, although they've gotten really hot recently, so it's become more difficult, but places like, Boise and Salt Lake City and Memphis and Birmingham, Alabama, like a lot of these markets are not markets you think of when it comes to investing. But if you kind of look in those markets, the cost of houses is relatively low compared to the rents, and you don't have massive amounts of real estate investors operating in those areas competing for all those houses that need repair. You go to some of these major cities, Dallas, Fort Worth, Southern Florida, the coasts, there are thousands and thousands of real estate investors competing for every single property that comes up that's available for them to buy, which, running this lead generation business drives the cost of advertising sky high, right? So with pay-per-click advertising, people are all competing for that same ad space to connect with that same home seller. And so your cost of deal acquisition, your cost of acquiring a house goes way up in some of these really competitive markets versus some of these smaller cities. You can have a low cost of purchase, a low level of competition in the market, and a really good ratio of rents to purchase price of the house if that's your strategy. Yeah,
you poured cold water on me right away. I'm from Dallas, and now I live in West Palm Beach. So
two tough markets.
No matter what market I got my family in Dallas. Okay, hey, we're buying. What do you want to do? And they're just like, and I'm like, no, that number doesn't work. And I'm in here in West Palm Beach, and no number works.
Yeah, we're based in Dallas Fort Worth, right next to the airport is where our headquarters is, and so we
I'm from
dual.
Coppell, so yeah.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah,
perfect.
right there.
So we see a lot of real estate. A lot of our clients are based here just because our headquarters is here. And so
Yeah.
we're always talking to them about what's happening. And people are making a lot of money, but it is a really, really tough market to operate in if you're not the guys that have been doing it for 10 or 15 years are
Right.
doing really well. But I think the people that are relatively new and don't have a lot of capital, it's really tough for them to make it in a really big market because there's so many sophisticated investors here.
Yeah, there are my and not to make this about me at all, but my sister-in-law's husband, does the same thing, and we share notes, and it's tough right now. It's tough for him. I mean,
Yeah.
not to throw out towns that people don't know who are listening this, but he's in Louisville.
Yeah.
And he's like, I literally have to scrape the bottom because he's a low guy. I mean, he doesn't have tons of cash. He has investors, but not what he needs. And yeah, it's tough. He's having a tough time, and I'm like, and they're out there. I'm in Florida. They're here.
Yeah.
Here. I'm starting to believe I've always been a boots on the ground guy myself, right? A solopreneur, so to speak. And I'm starting to believe I may need, after I'm 52 years old, it might be time to change that mentality a little bit. Maybe get a little help, maybe contact you guys and, see what I can do.
Yeah, it's tough to be an expert at everything. And that's kind of the
Yeah.
reason we created some of these businesses was, I started out as a solo entrepreneur. Now we've got a, pretty large business with a lot of employees.
Yeah.
And, as you grow, you just can't do everything. And I think you can start really small, but especially with things like, pay-per-click advertising, understanding all the rules around direct mail and, all the rules around text messaging and not getting into legal trouble, that you just cannot, as a solo entrepreneur, be an expert on every single thing. And whether you hire employees to do it or you hire companies like us to generate leads for you to help you find properties, it's taking kind of those things off of your plate so that you can do what you uniquely do best, which for most investors is talking to the home seller, negotiating with them, making them feel comfortable and buying their property, and kind of the things on the other end of it. You hire real estate agents, you hire marketing companies, you hire web developers, you do all these things so that you could focus on what you're best at and not be overwhelmed by all the kind of other moving parts of running a business.
Yeah. Great advice, man. Great advice. Jeremy, I always ask this of the guest at the end of the show. Share with us. I always say, I'm the DJ and you're the hit record, if anybody knows what records still are. but take us out this last minute with some positivity, whatever might be on your mind, your heart, your soul, kind of about whether it's about business, it could be your family, your pet dog, just take us out with something positive.
Yeah, well, I appreciate the opportunity to do that. And, for me, I've been an entrepreneur for 20 years. It's what I love to do. And, even as we see kind of the chaos in the world and all the tough things that go on, I absolutely believe in the power of entrepreneurialism and the power of small business. It creates more jobs than anything else in the country, small business owners. And so, real estate agents and real estate investors are all part of that small business entrepreneur community. And I just really encourage people, even when it's tough and even when, you're feeling that you're down, more opportunity is created by being a small business owner than almost anything else that you can do. And I encourage people to stick with it and continue to build. It's a wonderful profession. Real estate is an amazing place to be. And I think has a really long run of helping people make a lot of money, even with interest rates and other things. I think sometimes we get stuck in the, what happened over the last 30 days or what's happening right this second. And we don't look at the long term. Real estate's always gone up and down. Business has always gone up and down. But over the long term, it can be a huge profit driver and income driver for you and your family and the people around you and the charities that you care about. So I talk to, as like you do, thousands of real estate agents and real estate investors. And sometimes I hear them getting down. And like, don't worry about this present moment. Think about the long term, because long term, there's huge opportunity in this market.
Yeah, love the positivity, Jeremy. Thank you so much for being on WeBuyHouses.com, Jeremy Brandt. I look forward to catching up with you maybe the next 3, 6, 9 months and see how things are going. Actually, you're probably going to hear from me sooner. The truth. But
next time you're in Dallas.
Yeah, 10-4, man. Thank you so much for being on the program, Jeremy.
Thanks. Have a good one.
You too. All right. Good job, man.
Good deal. Appreciate it.
Yeah, I'll shoot you an email. Thanking you for being on the program. And if you could just send me a headshot back.
Okay.
I can put that on the thumbnail. And that's it, man.
You got it.
I appreciate you being on. Have a great week.
You too. Have a good one.
Bye-bye.
Bye.